What if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back isn't what you don't know, but what you think you already know? Woo! That's so much to unpack just right there, because when we're born as a child, we come into this world already being conditioned by our environment, by our parents, by whoever's around us or who's our guardians, the things we're being exposed to on TV, or even the children we're around. And you realize that the most dangerous thing isn't always ignorance, but it's clinging to old beliefs, old habits, old behavior that is no longer serving you. And so in this video, I want to talk about the power of unlearning, why letting go outdated ideas, beliefs, and habits is a real key to growth. It continues to help me. And so it's understanding that there's a balance to everything. Why, yes, you want to learn new things, learn new perspectives, read new books, expose yourself to new cultures and new environments and new understandings. You also want to cleanse yourself, if you will. You want to when you pour your cup out and dump it out of old outdated things that aren't working, you need something to fill it back in, right? But you need to realize, hey, sometimes we have to check ourselves. All right. What are some old beliefs or old habits that you're clinging onto that's really holding you back? And I want to go ahead and just jump right in. If you're new here, I'm Darnaya Darice. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. On this channel, I do lifestyle motivation and bookish content. I want to continue to inspire, encourage, motivate, and uplift and challenge you and myself in the process. Okay, so go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, and jump in the chat in the comments. All right, with me here, but I want to give you 3 steps. Okay, 3 steps process to for how we actually start unlearning the beliefs or habits or what have you that tend to hold us back. And guess what? It's a continuing process as you learn and navigate life, because that's what I'm finding out, right? We won't always get it right, but when we learn the lesson, that's when we know, okay, we're growing, we're learning, all right? And so, listen, 3 actionable steps that you can take to shift your mindset. One is identify outdated beliefs. At some point throughout your week, make it a weekly habit, monthly habit, however you will, but write down, jot down, type down, however you like to do it, record yourself. But jot down your beliefs about success, love, money, relationships, happiness, about yourself, and ponder over, is this something I truly believe, or is it just something I was taught? And I want to give you something here. My 20s was kind of a up and down decade for me. And into my 30s, I was dealing with consequences of choices and decisions, of mistakes, and trying to figure out, okay, what's my next move? What does Darnaya want? And I had to deal with the fact of disappointment, frustration, and I still sort of deal with this today, and I kind of walk myself through the process. Like, am I a disappointment? Am I a failure from one moment? Moments don't define me. Moments don't define you. Okay, are you still living? Are you still thinking? Are you still pushing? Okay, what did you learn from that? Because you're not defined by one moment, my love. We're not defined by just our moments. No, we're more. It's more to us than that. And so I have to constantly encourage myself. Okay, when I do these videos, it's not just for y'all, it's for me too. Okay, this is how I feed and remind myself so I can go and play it back. Okay, now you said, all right, I can hold myself accountable, right, to improvement, to love, self love, if you will. All right. And so think about, is that true? Are you a disappointment? Are you a failure? If I'm still living and I'm still breathing, I still have a chance to do better. Did I actually fail yet? Am I failing forward? In order to reach success, I had to fail at something to learn what's the better route, what's the better plan, what are the better steps. So I encourage you today. It's not about fluff. It's really about honing in. And that's part of that self-care that we have to realize. And I love, there's a lady named Dr. Yellen Van Zett. She talks about self-care isn't selfish, it's self-full. We have to fill our cup first. And once you fill your cup, what's in the cup is for you, and what pours out is for everyone else. The overflow, right? So identify, what am I believing? What am I following? What am I doing that's outdated and not productive? How do you measure that? Well, measure your productivity. Measure your next levels. Okay, what did I accomplish last year? What didn't I accomplish? Where am I at financially, spiritually, socially, just all the things, right? All right, let's move on to step two. Step two, and we're talking about how to start unlearning. What are those actionable steps? And that is challenging old patterns. When you catch yourself thinking, and I do this often, I can't do this. This is just how it is. Pause and ask, where did I learn this? Where did I even learn this? Where did I get this from? And is it really true? A lot of times I find people who are not living and operating in the world as it is. It's like we're operating ideally as the world should be, not as it is. We have to pay attention. Okay, we know things should be this way, but how is it right now, and how can I navigate and do better for myself? How can I maneuver? How can I play my cards right? If you're a spades player, you know you're dealt a hand. And your hand isn't always good, but how you going to play them cards? You got to move some cards around. You got to know strategically when to throw it down. That's how you got to think about your life. You got to think strategy about yourself, about your life, about the moves you make. And guess what? It's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if, because when we make wrong moves, we learn from that. Don't, don't, don't let people hold you to certain limitations. Okay? And step three, expose yourself to new perspectives. That's why I love reading books. Always loved to read. When I got to college, it was like I stopped my own personal reading because, in college you're focusing on the assignments and reading books that you have to read. But I get a different sense of joy in my adulthood, in my 30s, of books I get to choose to read in of all genres, so I can be versatile and I can connect the dots with math, science, and romance, and historical fiction, history, all those things. So listen to different things in your life and pay attention to those, right? You don't have to listen to every voice, but choose something different. Choose to be different when needed. All right, when you're needing to shift in your life, how can I choose differently? How can I refresh my thinking? Okay? And so it's important to also watch people who challenge your way of thinking. You're not always going to agree with everybody, right? But in order to grow, you need new information, new perspectives, and you need to know how to deduce the different information and analyze and interpret for yourself. All right? Growth happens when you step outside your bubble. Pop that bubble, girl. Pop that bubble, beloved. Okay. And so, what we're talking about here is unlearning, right? Unlearning is like decluttering your mind, it makes space for something new. So, we constantly have to refresh our thoughts and our beliefs, right? And be mindful, does this belief dehumanize other people? And why do I believe that's right? Would I want to be dehumanized? Okay, there's so many layers to that. So many layers. So, if you would be so kind, join the conversation with me. Drop in the comment, tell me what's one belief or habit or moment that you're ready to unlearn, or things that you were taught, anecdotes. And where I'm from, they like cute anecdotes. It's cute, but they're not, anecdotes aren't always correct. They're not always accurate. They're not always true. For instance, money is evil. People are evil. Social media is evil. When you're talking about money, social media, games, you're talking about inanimate things, inanimate objects. So it's not the things, it's the people. People. And it's not evil when we attach, evil or monster or a name to it. We remove the accountability and the responsibility. When we say someone's the devil and this or that, you're removing responsibility from that person. Now understanding people make choices. People are people. And some people are unhealthy. A lot of people are unhealthy. And each individual have to make it a point to, okay, I know I've learned some unhealthy things, unhealthy behavior, been surrounded by it. Now I have to feed myself more healthy information. I have to be healthy, right? You're either dealing with unhealthy people or healthy people, harmful behavior, unharmful behavior, productive or unproductive. And so you have to measure that each moment in your life. And listen, we're all on that journey. I'm on that journey with you. So let's keep going. Let's keep rising. Keep uplifting each other. All right. And don't be afraid to let go when you need to. Don't be afraid to be bold when you need to. Don't be afraid to be quiet when you need to. How about it? All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some bit of nuggets. And if you did, let me know what most resonated with you with this video. And until next time, always remember to keep rising. Taking just be